Now we're looking at one-step inequalities. So in A, I'm going to draw my river. And I know that this is negative 2 times h, and we always get rid of multiplication by division. Now, some of you divided by 2. I would ask you, does that get rid of this negative 2? Last time I checked, a negative 2 divided by a positive 2 is negative 1, and h is not by itself if there's a negative in front of it. So we need to divide by a negative 2 on both sides. Negative 2 divided by negative 2 cancels out. They're the same exact number, and now they're gone. So I have h. Over here, a positive 20 divided by a negative 2 is going to be a negative 10. And this is the really important part. Since we divided by a negative on both sides, our symbol has to flip. So our answer is h is less than, that's my boyfriend, negative 10. So I'm going to put negative 10 on my number line. Maybe I'll put negative 9 here and negative 11 here. It's going to be an open dot, and it's going to point to the left because that starts with an L. And this would be my graph. Now, when I go to check it, I need to pick a number that's on my arrow. So I don't want to pick negative 9. I don't even want to pick negative 10. I want to pick it on the arrow. So maybe I do negative 11. So I'm going to put negative 11 in here. And I actually do the work. A negative 2 times a negative 11 is a positive 22. I bring this down and I ask myself, does this make sense? Is 22 greater than 20? Well, yes, it is. I know that I'm right. All right, moving on to B. I draw my river, and I'm looking over here this time because my x is over here, and I know that I need to subtract 3 on both sides. So I do that, and I'm left with x over here. My symbol is not going to flip because I just subtracted. The only time I ever flip it when I'm doing something is multiplying or dividing by a negative. So I get over here, and this is where a lot of you made your mistake. With subtraction of decimals, you have to line them up. The 3 is really 3.0. So now, when I subtract them, I do the work. Maybe I'll do it down here or up here. And I need the bigger number on top. So I actually need 3.0 to go on top and 1.8 to go on the bottom. And now I subtract. Well, I can't subtract 0 minus 8. I have to borrow. So the 3 becomes a 2 and the 0 becomes a 10. And now I can do it. 10 minus 8 is 2. Decimal comes down. 2 minus 1 is 1. So I get 1.2. And I ask myself, is it positive because 1.8 is bigger, or negative because 3.0 is bigger and it's negative? Now, we don't like it this way, right? We don't want the variable at the end. We want it at the beginning. So we're going to have to flip all this around. So the x is going to come over here. The negative 1.2 comes over here, and my symbol flips. Now I think I'm done. So like if this were negative 1 and negative 1.1, negative 1.2 would be here, negative 1.3, negative 1.4, negative 1.5, just to get a kind of sense of how your number line could look. We have a closed dot this time, and it's pointing to the right. When we go to check, we want to pick a number that's on the arrow. And like I've told you before, my tip is if 0 is on your arrow, by all means use it. 0 is awesome because it is so easy. So I'm going to put 0 here. So 0 plus 3, of course, is 3. And I bring down this number here and I ask myself, does this make sense? Is 1.8 less than or equal to 3? Yes. So I know that I've gotten it right. Woohoo!